How much money do you actually need to retire in 2026? If you listen to the mainstream media or the flashy influencers on your screen, they will tell you that $1 million is the absolute bare minimum. They make you feel like you have already failed if your bank account does not have 7 figures in it. But here is a truth that almost nobody is willing to tell you. According to the latest data from the Federal Reserve, the typical American household approaching retirement today has nowhere near $1 million. In fact, the median retirement account balance for those in their early 60s is sitting right around $200,000. That is a massive gap between the fantasy we are sold and the reality we are living in 2026. If you are sitting there with $200,000 and wondering if you can ever stop working, you are not alone. In fact, you are exactly where half of the country is standing right now. This is the real state of retirement in America. But before we dive into how you can make that number work for you, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps us bring these honest, data-backed conversations to more people who truly need to hear them. Also, leave a comment below and let me know what your biggest fear about retirement is in today's economy. Now, let us look at the facts with a clear head and an open mind. $1 million sounds great on paper, but it has become a psychological barrier that keeps people in a state of constant anxiety. In 2026, the cost of living has certainly risen, but the way we measure wealth has also become deeply distorted. Many people look at their house and see a high valuation, thinking they are wealthy because their home is worth $600,000. But as the old saying goes, you cannot eat your drywall. You cannot go to the grocery store and pay for your eggs and milk with a piece of your kitchen cabinet or a shingle from your roof. Unless you sell that home, downsize, or use a reverse mortgage, that equity is effectively frozen and unusable. This is why many households feel poor, even when they are technically millionaires on paper. They have what experts call a liquidity problem. If you have $200,000 in a 401k or an IRA, that is your actual fuel for your retirement journey. Everything else, including the house you live in, is just the vehicle you are driving. The real question is not how much you are worth on a balance sheet, but how much income that $200,000 can generate for you every single month. When we look at the standard 4% withdrawal rule, $200,000 only provides about $8,000 a year. That breaks down to less than $700 a month. On its own, that sounds terrifying and completely insufficient. But retirement in 2026 is not a single source of income. It is a puzzle made of different pieces coming together. We must look at the second piece of the puzzle, which is your Social Security benefits. The average Social Security benefit has recently been adjusted for inflation, and for many couples, it now brings in nearly $4,000 a month combined. When you add that Social Security income to the withdrawals from your personal savings, the picture begins to shift from impossible to manageable. But let us talk about the third piece of the puzzle, the one that most people completely overlook until it is too late. It is the power of the 7-year rule. If you are 62 years old today and you have $200,000, you might feel like you are standing at the finish line of a long race. But if you can find a way to let that money sit and grow for just 7 more years, something truly magical happens. With a typical market return of around 10%, that $200,000 will double into $400,000 by the time you reach age 69. And the best part is, you do not have to add a single extra penny to the account for this growth to occur. This is the power of compounding interest in the final, most critical stage of the game. Most people quit the race and start withdrawing their funds just as they are about to hit their fastest growth speed. They see $200,000 and think it is too small to make a difference, so they start spending it too early. But in 2026, the difference between retiring at 62 and retiring at 69 is the difference between struggling and thriving. Waiting those extra years does not just double your personal savings, it also significantly increases your monthly Social Security check. Every year you wait to claim Social Security after your 62nd birthday increases your benefit by approximately 8%. By the time you hit age 70, your monthly check could be 76% higher than it would have been if you claimed it at 62. This is how the average person with $200,000 actually wins the retirement game. They do not win by being a stock market genius or by inheriting a massive fortune from a long-lost relative. They win by being incredibly patient, and understanding the simple math of time and compounding. Now, I know exactly what you are thinking. What if I cannot wait that long? What if I am completely tired of working my high-stress job right now? There are creative ways to bridge the gap that did not exist 10 or 20 years ago. We are seeing more retirees in 2026 embrace the concept of house hacking or shared living arrangements. If you have a large home with extra bedrooms, now that the kids have moved out, that space is an untapped goldmine. Renting out a room or a finished basement can bring in an extra $1,000 a month of pure liquid cash flow. That is the equivalent of having an extra $300,000 sitting in your retirement account. Think about that for a second, because it is a game changer. You do not need to save another $300,000 if you can find a way to make your existing assets produce monthly income. Another powerful trend we are seeing is the transition into what we call a bridge job. This is work that you actually enjoy, perhaps part-time, that covers your basic bills while you let your main retirement fund grow untouched. It could be working at a local library, a garden center, or even starting a small online business based on a lifelong hobby you never had time for. In 2026, the digital economy has made it easier than ever for older adults to monetize their wisdom, experience, and skills. The goal of a bridge job is not to build a massive new career, but to keep your hands off your 401k for as long as possible. Every year you do not touch your principal balance is a year that your future self will thank you for. Let us go back to the numbers for a moment, because I want this reality to really sink in. If you have $200,000 and you manage to let it grow to $400,000, your safe withdrawal amount jumps to $16,000 a year. Combined with a maximized Social Security benefit, a retired couple could easily see a combined income of over $6,000 a month. In most parts of the country, $6,000 a month provides a very comfortable, stable, and dignified life. You can pay your property taxes, keep the lights on, buy high-quality organic food, and even travel to see your grandchildren twice a year. You do not need a 100-foot yacht or a mansion on the hill to have a successful retirement. You need a solid plan that is grounded in the reality of your own numbers. The biggest mistake I see people make in 2026 is falling into the paralyzing trap of fear. They see the inflation headlines and the volatility in the stock markets, and they panic. They pull their money out of the market and put it into a basic savings account that pays almost nothing after inflation. Or even worse, they spend it all quickly because they feel like they will never have enough to be secure anyway. This is a fatal financial error that you must avoid. To beat inflation in the long run, your money must stay invested in things that actually grow over time. Yes, the stock market goes up and down in the short term, but over any 10-year period, it has historically always moved higher. If you are 55 or 60 years old today, you likely have 30 or even 40 more years of life ahead of you. You are not just planning for next year, you are planning for the year 2056. Your portfolio needs to have enough growth potential to keep up with the rising cost of medicine, food, and energy. This is why we focus on high-quality index funds and a diversified investment approach. It is about being the tortoise, not the hare. It is about consistency and having the discipline to tune out the constant noise of the 24-hour news cycle. If you are feeling overwhelmed right now, take a deep, slow breath. The bar to be above average in America is actually much lower than the media leads you to believe. If you can save just an extra $300 a month and keep your current $200,000 invested, you are already ahead of 80% of the population. You do not have to be a perfect investor. You just have to be an intentional one. As we look toward the future, remember that retirement is not a sudden end point or a brick wall. It is a brand new chapter of your life that simply requires a different set of tools than your working years. The tools that got you here, like hard work and aggressive saving, are different from the tools that will keep you there. In retirement, you need patience, strategic withdrawals, and a focus on cash flow. I want you to leave this video feeling empowered and capable, not discouraged or frightened. $200,000 is a significant amount of money and a fantastic foundation. It is a seed that, if planted correctly in the right soil and given the time to grow, can provide a beautiful shade for your later years. If you found this deep dive analysis helpful, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up right now. It really helps the YouTube algorithm show this message to other people who are worried about their financial future. And if you have not already, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss our deep dives into the real numbers of the 2026 economy. I want to hear directly from you in the comments section below. Are you planning to delay your retirement to let your accounts grow to their full potential? Or are you looking for creative ways to retire now? Let us start a real conversation and help each other navigate these complex financial times together. Remember, the absolute best time to start planning was 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now, today. No matter where you are starting from, there is a clear path forward for you. Do not let the million-dollar myth keep you from building the secure and happy life you deserve. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.